There is a fella who you've heard in here for the last 25 plus years, every single day, bringing this music out and starting the show and doing things a certain way. You will not be hearing that anymore. And here is Mike Reiner. And we're going to play it.
So ticket.
I don't make a habit of this, but I have a little bit of a news drop for you guys, and I want you to hear it from me as opposed to from someone or somewhere else where it's open to interpretation or spin or that type of thing. Here you're getting it straight up from me. We're on vacation right now. Happens every year at this time. January rolls around, we go back, we attack the new broadcast year. That will be the case this year as well, with one difference. And that difference is I won't be there. It's time for me to step away from the gig at the ticket, and that's what I'm going to do. Whose idea was this? It was mine. Nobody else down there knows. I don't want a big deal made out of it, so I've kind of sat on it, but I decided sometime down the road, back down the road, that the time was right, and that's what I'm going to do. Why? Well, that's a little bit tougher. Over the years, people have come up and said, how much longer are you going to do this? And I never knew what to tell them. I told them as long as I wanted to. The end is not in sight. And I talked to some other guys who had stepped away from gigs similar to this, which meant about as much to them as this does to me, which is like everything. And they said that when the time was right for them to step away, they knew it, and they did it. And they said that's the way it'll be for you too. I didn't understand that, I didn't believe it, but now I see that they knew what they were talking about. The time is right, and that's what I'm going to do. It has been my life for 26 years, probably far more than it should have been. I loved everything about the radio station. I loved the work of the job. I loved being on the air. I loved hanging with the guys, being on the air with the guys, doing the big events with the guys, the road trips with the guys. All those things that we've done have been the most meaningful experience that I've ever had, and I will miss it terribly, no doubt. So what will I do? I don't know. Maybe something, maybe nothing. We'll see. If something materializes that seems like it's going to be fun, then, as a great man said, we'll deal with that. But in the meantime, if that doesn't happen, we'll just keep on keeping on. But the main thing I want to do is address you, the P1, and try to invoke to you what these years have been like and let you know what you've meant to us. This started at the Dixie House in Lakewood, a bunch of scribblings on a legal pad, which didn't turn into anything. And then through me trying to talk guys I barely knew into doing this, them acting against their better judgment, 4 owners, many general managers, we have seen this turn into a ratings behemoth. We have seen this turn into something unlike so many other stations in the market and so like very, very, very few others. We have seen it grow into something we could not have possibly imagined. And we've also seen this incredible scene develop with you, the ticket listener, which has meant so much. We've gotten to know a lot of you over the years. You are friends to me now. You always will be. We've seen you show up at Ticket Stock, Summer Bash, Fight Night, all the events we've done. We've seen how you respond to them. We've seen you laugh with us, and it is so, so cool. You've let us know that we have done something here that has mattered to you, that has made a difference in your life. You tell us about how we have brought you back together with your dad, your son, your mother, whoever, a friend, whoever the case may be. When you fought hard times and fought losing battles, listening to us made it a little bit better. At a time when radio stations mattered less and less, all across the nation, you let us know that when it seemed like there was nobody else there for you, we were there, and we made a difference. And hearing that means everything to me. Chuck Noll was the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the 70s. And he was the coach when the Steelers were beating the Cowboys in those Super Bowls and those great games. And he was a football hard ass. He was sort of like a Lombardi, Shula type figure like Belichick and Saban are today. And sometimes he would riff on things other than football when he would address his team, and he would always tell them, football's just a temporary thing. Sooner or later, you guys are going to have to find your life's work. And I don't know if that really sunk into him or not, but it kind of became a thing up there in Pittsburgh. And when he had to cut a guy, when a guy got too old or too slow or whatever the case may have been and couldn't help him anymore, he'd call him in and say, look, I appreciate everything you've done for us, but it's time for you to find your life's work. I don't have to go find my life's work. This has been it, and I am damn proud of it. And I thank you, the ticket listener, more than I can tell you. I thank all my brothers up there who are there now for being so great over the years, on the air and off. I thank all the people who have been there before and have made such a difference and helped turn the thing into what it is now, helped us through those developmental years who are no longer there. Thanks so much to them. Most of all, thanks to you, because without you, it just doesn't happen. So, until we meet again, you guys stay hard. Keep jamming, and we'll see you.
All right, hit the theme, and we'll leave. We'll just get out of here now.
No.
Okay.
We still have where we talk. The ticket still has a lot of broadcasting to do here.
So, yeah, there you go. Mike has retired. Now, yeah, you can lower that. We don't need to hear him.
It's a long hallway. We don't want to hear. We can't hear the footsteps and then the gunshot, which is the most disturbing element.
Thrown
of
down the stairs is like in the old days.
Yeah, or the small flatulence that you hear at the end.
So
this is amazing and it's shocking. It's got to be shocking for the P1s as it is just shocking for us.
Yeah, this. First off, I'll say what I said to you guys in our meeting. I've talked to Mike, and it was the conversation I had with him when he decided that this was it. And first off, this is a very Mike Reiner. He wanted to leave basically without any pomp and circumstance. He didn't want any fanfare. He just wanted to leave. He didn't want to be Dirk, or he wanted to be like Dirk, where you never really knew when it was going to happen. And so he didn't want to go to every single arena and have a 20-minute video, of him playing and honoring his career. He just kind of wanted to get out on his own terms, and that's exactly what Mike wanted to do too. And he's very happy with his situation, with his with the fact that he's leaving. This has nothing to do with a contract. This has nothing to do with him being mad at anyone up here. This has everything to do with a guy who has decided that it's time. And we all should be so lucky to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'm done. And that's it. And you walk away from it. And that's what he's done. And he is incredibly happy with the way that he left things. And I think he's really happy with what life holds in store for him moving forward.
What an incredible radio career, from being at the Zoo, which was such a game-changer radio station, to having the vision of this station.
I know.
And reaching out to people like Craig and Grego, and then eventually me, who he barely knew, and putting that group together. And we believed in him, and we believed a lot of the same things that he did. But none of us, as we've said many times, whether it was the 5th anniversary of the ticket or 10th or most recently or 25th, that it would last this long, that it would make this kind of impact. And it all circles back to Mike and what his vision was, and his idea was to put a staff together, and he started all of this.
I know. And it's weird to think about it that way, because none of us in here would have the lives that we do today if it wasn't for him going to the Dixie House in Lakewood, as he said there in his announcement, and scribbling down notes and talking to these guys and actually putting the pedal to the metal and creating this thing. I don't know what the hell we'd be doing.
Yeah, not just creating it, but then hiring all of us.
Yeah.
I know what I'd be doing.
Having faith in all of us.
35 to life.
Yeah, back at the day where he was putting the station together and he was putting the staff together, all of us, we were blips on the radar in Dallas-Fort Worth. And when the station was going on the air, everybody was trying to guess who are the hosts going to be. And nobody guessed me. Nobody guessed George. Nobody guessed Grego. And nobody guessed any of us.
Yeah.
They were all trying to come up with they were trying to come up with the big names and the big radio names and the big newspaper writers and all of that. But Mike had a vision. And he's always told that story that it was the old days in the back of the bus at Old Arlington Stadium or at Texas Stadium or Reunion Arena, and he and Grego would be talking, or Mike and me and Grego, and he always noticed people listening. And it was Mike's vision that, wow, maybe there's something here with these guys that nobody really knows. And so that took some balls.
Oh, my God,
to
yes,
put
it
that
did.
staff together and a startup radio station, but we're all indebted to him because it worked.
Who would you say had a higher level of fame going into the ticket? You two guys then, or Cray Trey now?
Cray Trey now. Without question.
Because of the ticket.
Because of the ticket. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, people had no idea who we were.
And also, I mean, you guys were 25 or whatever at the time, and to take a chance on people that young for that type of job, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing it worked, but even more amazing is the fact that Mike did have that vision for it all to end up the way it did.
So if people are just tuning in now, we just want to clarify, Mike Reiner's not dead.
Yes. No, he's
very
alive.
Yet.
Doing great.
Mike announced at the end of his vacation, his Christmas vacation, that he was not going to return. He felt like the time to retire was now, and he retires happily and on good terms with the ticket. There was no contract dispute. There was no falling out with someone up here. There was no health reason that he had to retire. This was Mike making a happy decision, which is the dream that most of us have, is that we will know it's time to leave a place and we won't be shown the door before we want to leave a job. And it surprises me. It shocks me. I guess part of me never felt like this day would come because I could never imagine the ticket without Mike.
Sure.
Just because he's always been here with us and he's been our buddy and our friend and our coworker for so long. But it shocked me. But, man, I hope that when my day comes that I can leave of my own volition and with no hard feelings and no ill will on either side.
There's no way that's going to happen for you.
I know it's not.
Security leading you down the hallway. And
right.
In handcuffs.
Yeah, people are going to want to write a different story than what the story actually is. The story is he just got to a great place and decided this was the time, and he pulled the ripcord.
Sitting on a gigantic pile of money.
Right.
I'm happy for him.
I know.
We all are. Yeah.
I know. I'm so happy for the guy because he does seem to be at peace. And I'm glad you brought that up, Gordo, because about the health thing, because I think a lot of people, and me included, and I asked him this immediately. I mean, within 20 seconds of talking to him, I'm like, dude, tell me everything is okay health-wise. He's like, it has nothing to do with health. It has everything to do with it's just time. And
in classic Mike fashion, his showmates found out less than a week ago.
Yeah. Again, he really wanted to make the Irish exit, and he damn near pulled it off. But I'm like, you're Mike Reiner. You can't just walk away. And a lot of people are probably wondering, why isn't he on the air today making this announcement? Well, it's just that.
Because I retired.
Right, yeah, I'm done.
I don't work there anymore. What, do they not understand what retirement means? I don't want to have to broadcast during my retirement.
It's that. I mean, he's done, and he doesn't want to come up here, and that's why he recorded that message. And is he going to come up here? Yes. And I told him, I'm like, dude, you got to come up at some point in the not-too-distant future so we can talk about whatever. And he's like, well, I mean, if they'll let me do it, I'll come up there.
Yeah, well,
those boys up there will let me do it.
We'll give you the forum,
right?
Pull some strings.
Right. But man, yeah, we all owe everything to him, and it's not just us. It's not just, you look at the last quarter century and what this radio station has meant to this area, and how much people are attached to this place. And I'm sure they would have found something else. In the meantime, to latch onto, but this is a part of people's lives. It's a part of their kids' lives, as he said in the message. There are generations now of listeners that are attached to this radio station because of him, because of what he built. And yeah, you can't quantify it. It's this is going to go down as one of the most legendary radio stations this city has ever had.
A thought just occurred to me when we did start way back in the day. It was always said that Skip Bayless, who did the morning show to start with, gave us some legitimacy because he had a name, and Chuck Cooperstein. In a lot of ways, Mike did.
Yeah.
Because people had so many great memories of the zoo in the 80s, and people knew who Mike was. A lot of people knew who Mike was. And I remember that first day when they went on the air, Craig and I were listening, and I went, this is going to work. This is great. Hearing all sports radio in Dallas, and it was the day after the Cowboys had clinched another Super Bowl. And it was Mike that, came on that first day, and I'd heard the other guys too, but there was something so familiar about Mike, that voice that you'd heard through the decades, and especially we had because we were in sports radio. But
he was the only guy that I knew when the station started. I wasn't familiar with Chuck or Skip. Maybe I'd heard their name at some point.
The Morning Zoo,
growing up here, I absolutely knew about the Morning Zoo.
Well, you mentioned Mike's voice, and I love everybody at this station, but I loved listening to Mike's voice more than anybody else. There was something comforting about it, and
it was a real monotone.
His way with words, the way he could tell a story.
Yeah.
There was there's never been anybody like him, and there won't be anybody like him. There's just that voice is just you knew it was the ticket, and you knew there was going to be something interesting or funny. And it always delivered.
Yeah, it's been very difficult here. Danny and I did the show Thursday and Friday after we came back from break. And to be honest with you, those shows were really weird because we were armed with that information.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm really glad that we did find out last Wednesday and that we didn't find out Sunday at 7 o'clock last night or this morning. Obviously, we have a larger stake in all this. I like steak.
I'll tell you what, it was weirder. It's weirder for me now than it was on Thursday and Friday because at Thursday and Friday it didn't quite seem real.
Mm-hmm.
But now hearing it, seeing the video, having it come out of everybody's mouths that this is, in fact, the reality.
Right.
It's the new normal for us.
Right.
I feel a little rudderless right now.
Yeah, it's strange. And as I said, it probably will be strange for, I would say, until this summer. It's going to be odd. And I think that's completely natural that something like that would throw you for a little bit of a loop.
Miami's going to be really weird.
Yeah, it'll be strange. A road trip without him. So Danny and I joined this show back in 2000?
Correct. I started in March of 99. Officially as an employee in August of 99, but was working up here in March of 99, produced the nighttime show, and then joined this show the year afterwards.
Okay, yeah. I think I was it may have been today, 20 years ago, that I started on this show. It was sometime in early January.
Yeah.
I think.
I came a little bit later than you did.
Yeah, because Jeff was still around.
Yeah, and then he went to
producing the
Kansas
show.
City, and then they were, Sans producer, and I remember they wanted to interview me for the job, and several meetings with Mike and the Hammer at Genghis Grill. That seemed to always be the interview spot.
Well, that's because he ate there
every day
for 12 years straight.
Mm-hmm. And he always hated dog bowl chaos.
He did. In that regard, for both of us, is we had George and Craig and Gordon on here for a couple of segments, but when I was kind of a free agent out there, and I was working with Bob and Dan for about 6 months, and we were doing 10 to 3, and this was after Chris Arnold had left the radio station, and I was producing his show, and then I started doing on-air stuff, and for Mike and Greg, for that matter, to take a chance on me and hire a third guy from within. I was floored the day that I got called in there, and Mike was like, do you want this job? And I was like, yeah. At first I didn't, because I was really enjoyed, what was going on with Bob and Dan. But for him, because, this station took off, and right around that point in the late 90s, early aughts, it was full speed ahead. It was a monster. And growing up around here and listening to Mike on the Zoo, when you're a little kid and you hear these radio voices, you have a certain perception in your head. Well, mine was that guy was a he was a god. He was on a rock and roll station doing a rock and roll morning show, doing sports on a rock and roll morning show.
Like
and I'm
your
like,
two favorite things were the
absolutely.
Rolling Stones and football.
Yes, right.
And he's talking about both.
Right. And so it was still weird. And Mike's a very difficult person to get to know, as we all know. That's just his nature.
It's hard to crack the code.
It really is. And so
it used to be. It's not so much
No,
anymore.
He's softened.
Since around 2007, he's a lot different than he was when I first met him in 98,
I totally agree. But when it was still, for me, it was really weird when he asked me to join the show, and because I thought of him in that way still, even though I'd worked with him, I'd worked up here for 5 or 6 years prior, I didn't get to hang out with Mike very much. We didn't talk very much. I didn't know him very well.
You probably thought he hated you.
Well, yeah, because everybody in here.
I didn't look him in the eye for about the first 6 months I was here, because I always heard the rumors that he could fire you at an instant.
I was told you had to be here at least 1 year before you could approach Mike.
Are you serious?
I was told that.
Yeah, it was about 2018 for me, so that had been 4 years.
There was about a year and a half. He just called me Fake Grego all the time. He didn't even know my name.
Right. This is before you were the killer.
He called you Fake Grego?
Yeah,
Fake Grego.
He did. I remember when he started in engineering, and he called him Fake Grego a lot.
It wasn't until spring training that he actually learned what my real name was.
But, over the years, early on in the early 2000s, when we would start to go on these road trips together, and we would hang out, and we would, have cocktails and swap stories and laugh, and, that's the main thing. I think Mike enjoyed having us around Danny, especially back then, because we would make him laugh, and we would laugh a lot, and we would go out and we would have a blast together, and that was half the fun of being up here, and it still is, obviously, is we make each other laugh.
Yes, and busting balls and
absolutely.
Pranks and all of that.
And I think also with Mike, it's kind of like what you guys were talking about. Most people were pretty scared of him going into it, and then I think you and I. The kind of the gloves were off, and we were like, well, we don't really care.
Yeah.
We're going to bust your balls like we do everybody. And he had not had his balls busted very much.
No, because people were afraid to do it.
Right. And so, and I think he appreciated...
Gordon would do the impression.
Yeah.
That's about as far as it went.
Right. But it was... I think he really enjoyed that and having us around and all that, and just the fact that we would cut loose on him. But just the fact that he did take a chance on me and you back then, and as I said, it's my life is my life will probably be defined by what's gone on here is professionally based on the last 2 decades working with him, for better or for worse. Now, am I going to be here for another decade? Yeah, I'm going to be here, hopefully at least, for another decade, and I hope that that's a new chapter of it all, but in the end, when you look back at it, for better or for worse, that's probably what's going to define, what we're all about.
We could spend the entire week talking about favorite Mike memories.
Yeah.
I don't want to, maybe do too much eulogizing on a guy that's just retired. He didn't die.
Right.
He's in perfectly good health. But you talked about the busting balls thing, and I'll never forget, this is one of my favorites, was when I think the Hammer had left the station, and it was shortly after that. It was you and me and him on our first trip in that incarnation to spring training out in Arizona.
So this would have been 07?
I believe so, yeah. Or it would have been 08.
Okay.
It would have been March of 08. And I remember we went out to a Mexican restaurant that night, and it was just the three of us sitting there, and either you or me told the waiter that it was our dad's 85th birthday. Now, keep in mind, Mike
was in his 50s.
Yeah, Mike was probably 50, 57, 58.
He's like Wilford Brimley.
Not much older than we are right now. But Mike, I've always thought Mike was perpetually 63. Mike was just born at the age 63. And I remember we told the waiter that it was our dad's, that we were brothers, and our dad was turning like 83 that day.
Yeah.
And that we wanted to know if they would do a birthday thing.
And it was that real campy Mexican food joint?
Yes, and they end up bringing him like this thing of flan with a candle in it, and brought out a full mariachi band singing Mexican Happy Birthday.
Right.
And they put the sombrero on him. And the look on his face, just sitting there, kind of sunk down in his chair like he sits,
man.
just shaking his head just ever so slightly from left to right as we're all just like dancing with maracas.
Right.
Happy birthday, Dad. Happy 85th. You're
Giant,
doing great.
And I think we got him like one of those. This place is awful, by the way. Like as far as the cheese factor goes,
Yeah.
It's the most generic Mex place, and I think it's central to that area down in Arizona. But we got him. Remember, it was one of those fish bowls with like 5 straws and fruit pouring out of it, and it was just
big, giant, insane drink.
Yeah. It was just awful.
That was so funny, though. But yeah, talking about busting his balls, it goes around. Everybody gets it up here, but yeah, it was always super fun to get him.
Yeah, and cracking the mic code, which we all have by now. That's a cool moment when he's comfortable with you, and you know it because he'll talk to you, and I'm sure it happened with you at some point. You all remember a certain time where you became comfortable with Mike, and that's just, and he'll admit it. That is not an easy code to crack. But as you said, Danny, in the last 12, 13 years, he's softened up a ton. And it's been really, really good to see with everybody around here, not just us, but with everybody. But yeah, he is in a really good place. And I think that is the most important part of all of this, is that for him, he realizes the time is now. And he was given multiple opportunities to back out of this. Like, are you sure?
Like,
go home.
Like a month.
Go home and sleep on this. Let's talk about this. And he kept coming back and saying, I know it's my time. And you just can't fathom, I think, how cool that feeling must be when you know it's your time and you're at peace with it, and then you have X amount of years to do whatever you want. That's it. That's what you work for. In this job, you don't get to say bye very often.
No, you do not.
It is typically a really, really nasty separation.
It's like head coaching in the NFL.
And yeah,
it
exactly.
really is, man.
Your head's lopped off and you don't mention them. It's over. And I'm just so happy that this is a situation where everybody is happy and that everybody is comfortable, and that it's not one of those weird situations that drag on and we're in here going, oh, we don't know what happened. I don't know. Yeah, you have to ask him. Anyway, Mike McCarthy.
Like 12 years ago, it's
Yes.
a much different situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we can speak absolutely freely about this. And as friends of his and coworkers, as listeners, people that have met him at petty theft shows or road shows or just out and about on the town, to have anything less than just the utmost of respect and understanding the cool factor of the way he did this.
Yeah.
It's one of the coolest retirements. Watching that video in there, which is great. You can go to his Twitter, the old Gray Wolf 1310 or something like that.
The ticket.
Oh yeah, just go to the ticket. The ticket
yeah.
Twitter. They just tweeted it out shortly a little while ago. But yeah, just watching the video, it's like, dude, he got like some great photographer from D Magazine to film him in this cool hallway with lighting, and he looks super stately, and he's wearing a blazer and looks badass.
I know.
Like, damn it.
I know.
It's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it is.
And the whatever. I don't know if that was a script or if it was off the top of his head, but whatever. And he delivers it in only that way that he can, in that beautifully verbose Mike Reiner way.
I know, with the incredibly deliberate pacing, and it's just that's the thing about Mike too, is that people ask, like, what's he like off the air? I'm sure they ask that about everybody.
Of course.
When you see someone, like, what's he like? What's he like? What's he like? I mean, what you hear is what you get. Like the way he talks, and it's right there.
Yeah.
And it's always been that way,
He's not playing radio, I'll put it that way. Not like he was in the 80s.
No.
With the fake voice on the FM
rock
and roll dial.
No. God.
All right, we're rolling now.
Yeah, it's not for show. He's the real deal, for sure.
We're going to get Mike up here at some point. in the next few weeks.
Yes.
And, we'll be able to talk to him and have some fun and kick him in the balls and pick his brain and all that good stuff. But we were just as floored as everybody else. We learned only a handful of days ago that this was coming down, so we've had to keep it a secret and kind of carry on with what we've been doing. Danny and I came back on Thursday. So, something like this, too, it sends shockwaves throughout the entire P1 world. I get that. But, we're prepared. I don't want to talk too much about the future, but we're certainly prepared for this.
Yeah, we don't have a definitive plan, but there are options.
Yeah, and it's just like any other corporation or sports team or business where you have contingency plans that we've had in place for a long, long time in case anything happened, in case I left, George left, Norm left, Bob left. All of that, there's a plan in place. And so, yes, we do have a plan. Are we going to talk about it? Probably not for the next few weeks, but we'll let you know very, very soon. And when you know, you will know, if that makes sense. It will hit you over the head pretty hard.
But people don't know.
People don't know.
But they gonna know.
They will know.
Because they need to know.
And they do know.
And now you know.
Exactly. So, yes, when it's time, it's time. And like I said, you'll know. It will happen one day at 3:15, and you'll be very aware of what direction we are headed. But in the meantime, it's going to be very strange around here without the comforting voice of Mike. And
we haven't had time to plan for this. Even though you say there's a contingency plan, it takes a while to put all that stuff together. Yeah. It doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't, unfortunately, or fortunately.
I mean, you remember what it was like in 2007? I mean, I know it was so different, but as far as getting to a place where you could definitively look at one another and go, okay, this is the show moving forward. 6 months. Yeah. I don't think it'll be that long for this.
No, it won't. It won't be that long at all. So,
well, thankfully, I'll be out on tour with Beck, so none of this will apply to me.
Okay, so we had this meeting. The meeting was called, by the way, late in the day, like 12:30. And look, Danny and I were sitting on this, and we knew. Nobody else knew up here. We had to know, obviously, because we got skin in the game. But
not Jeff Skin Wade.
No, just general skin.
Yes.
And I don't care about pulling the curtain back because it's over and we don't have to keep any secrets anymore.
Right.
But we did have to keep this secret. And there's a million reasons why we wanted to keep it secret. And we were going to make the announcement today at 3:30, and so we didn't want to tell anybody up here, or at least management didn't, Kat and Dan and those guys, until later on in the day, and that way it would be a secret until 3:30. So we called a later meeting today, and you guys had your producers meeting, which you do every single Monday.
Every Monday at 11:45.
All the producers join in. You guys meet. You're tossing around ideas. Doing whatever, talking to Kat.
It's probably the most important thing I do on a weekly basis. Or those 15 minutes with Fernando and Mike Sirois and Jake.
I would totally agree.
And Kat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys really break it down hard.
You have no idea.
So anyway.
If it weren't for those meetings, this station would sink into the ocean.
You guys left your you set this up. You tell the story of Sirois.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we leave the producers meeting, and shortly after that, it's about 12:30, I would say, the first text goes out to the on-air and on-air staff members to meet at 2:30 for us to get together and Jeff to break the news to everybody that Mike is retired from the station. And immediately Mike Sirois texts me back because he thinks I'm just going to spill the beans.
Well, dude, everybody's freaking out because this is very rare to call a meeting at 2:30 when you just had a meeting.
Yeah. Very unusual.
Yeah.
That's going to involve your general manager.
Right.
And
everybody
your
be
program
there.
director.
Be there on time.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Yep. So Mike Sirois immediately hits me up and says, dude, spill it. What's the deal? And I go, impossible. Can't say a word. And then he says, is it big? And I sent the mind blown emoji.
Right.
And he was like, wow, man. What is going on here, man?
He was hitting up Jake, too. And Jake, Jake didn't know what was going on either. And Jake's sending me notes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on. And he's sending me screenshots of Sirois, and Jake's like, what's going on? I mean, everybody is just passing text back and forth. So we have to play.
Who's going to break protocol first?
Right. We have to play dumb because we're the only ones who know up here. And so you were telling me all this about Sirois.
Yeah.
About Sirois just, so about 15 minutes before the meeting, 10 minutes before the meeting, I'm like, I got to F with Sirois. This is just too easy. And so I text Mike, and this is at 2:21. We're meeting at 2:30. I text Sirois, and you have a band right now that's called the Bastards of Soul. And you guys have a big show coming up Friday night at the Kessler. Mm-hmm. And your band, the single is kind of blowing up a little bit around here, and it's really good, and it's cool stuff. And, Sirois is certainly aware of it and aware of how popular you guys have become. You sold out the Kessler, for God's sakes. So I text Sirois this, and you tell me, all of you guys, if you would believe this. I said, hey, dude, the Bastards of Soul just got signed. They're going on tour with Beck. Danny's gone, at least for this year. And then Mike texts back 1 second later, holy S.
Whoa, mind blown, bro.
So I said back, I know, man, he's beyond freaked out and excited. So this is what the meeting was going to be all about.
Yeah,
to break the news that Danny's going on tour with Beck.
I'm leaving.
Yes.
That would be maybe a company email.
Right. No, dude, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't be an all-hands-on-deck meeting with George and Gordo.
No. But, that you're going on tour,
with Beck.
So then Danny goes, dude, send him another note and say that since I'm the main songwriter in the band.
Which I'm not.
That I stand to lose millions.
Yeah, if I don't
go.
Yeah, millions.
Millions, all right? So I send him this. I go, he's freaked out. And as main songwriter, he just can't turn this down. Literally millions at stake.
And he spelled steak, S-T-E-A-K.
That was my Mike Reiner hint.
Steak. Yeah.
So Sirois texts me back, dude, of course.
Absolutely, has to do that.
Totally understand. I do the same,
he's
man.
Gotta go.
Being really sympathetic.
He's just got to go.
And that was it?
And then he sends me back a note that says, insane. And that was at 2:28.
Right.
And then 1 minute later, we walk in there, and Sirois thinks that he's just armed with the ultimate information and secret and all that. And he's sitting about 4 seats away from me, and I texted him, I can tell you this right now. This is all a lie.
And he didn't get the text, and I'm looking at him, and he goes, why are you staring at me? And I go, I don't know, just kind of wondering when Beck was going to show up to the meeting today.
That's why you said
yes, yeah. Then Beck walks in. He's
and then Corby goes, look at your phone.
Oh, God.
That was so funny.
So pissed off.
I'm kind of pissed that I'm not going on tour with Beck now and
I
all
know.
these millions of dollars I'm going to lose.
We thought it'd be really funny if Danny showed up in a full mink coat.
Yeah, they've already spent all my advance money.
You're right, with a chain with dollar signs on it,
Yeah, with a big feather in it. And
yes!
Tooth. A gold tooth.
Right.
Uh-huh.
God, he's changed. Well, he's going on tour with
Beck.
Yeah, he's got millions
Playing
to lose.
mid-level venues for millions of dollars. Because he's the chief songwriter.
Right.
None of that makes sense.
It doesn't.
None of it.
Yeah, but Sirois, I totally
understand.
Yes, I totally understand.
Yeah, millions.
Millions. Untold millions.
He was probably thinking he was going to slide into the chair.
The first
so he's
thing-
very excited into Danny's chair. Yeah.
And the second after the meeting, he came up and he goes, "Man, I'm kind of pissed because I was about to hit you up for tickets to that Beck show." He's like, I thought for sure you'd be able to get me in.
Front row, like, Daddy.
He looks at me and he's like, I really like Beck.
Yeah.
I love Beck. That was fun.
Okay, so yes, Mike Reiner has officially retired. If you're just now hearing the news, I'm sorry. Line 4 guy today during Why Today Doesn't Suck. He didn't
found
know.
out for the first time today?
He
was absent yesterday.
He was. So he was like in shock during Why Today Doesn't Suck.
We Joe Burrowed him, as Mino said.
Yeah. It was like Joel Genesta not knowing about 9/11.
What was 9/11?
Kinda.
It's a incident that happened
At a convenience
on
store?
9/11.
An incident?
In one hand, he's superfluous about giving up half of his salary to bring Wash back, but
Stay
then
on
he
track.
calls 9/11 an
A
incident.
little boo-boo.
Yeah. It's like a hubcap falling off.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so last night, interested to hear how everybody treated this, because it is a big news story. You know, it was slapped on the front of the Dallas Morning News immediately from Wolanski and the powers that be over there, and it was on the front page of the actual paper, and as it should be. It's a huge news story. So how did the television stations handle it last night? So Channel 8, they did a little pop on it. Was this early or later?
This is the 10 o'clock newscast, probably the third story, a little C block.
Okay.
You know, if sports fans weren't talking about the Cowboys, they were likely wondering what just happened at the ticket. Today, radio legend Mike Reiner shocked a lot of listeners when he announced he's leaving the station after more than 25 years. The afternoon drive just won't be the same.
I decided sometime down the road, back down the road.
Did they play the whole
that
thing?
The time was right. And
Just
that's
him
what I'm
walking
going
off.
to do. So what will I do? I don't know. Maybe something, maybe nothing. We'll see.
You know, at one point, Reiner was the #1 trending topic in DFW on Twitter. Even Troy Aikman tweeted, listening to the ticket and hearing Mike Reiner make the announcement that he's moving on to the next phase of life. Like many, my afternoons of listening to the Hardline won't be the same. You've given us so many years of radio gold. A heartfelt thank you to the old gray wolf. You know, Mike's got a lot of fans here at WFAA, too. We certainly wish him well.
For weeks, his family prayed he would come home.
Okay, so
is that it?
That's not about Mike.
No. Like Jordan is sitting there, like, please, Daddy,
He
please
just
come
wandered
home.
off like a week ago.
It was an odd transition.
He
I
wandered
had
down
to-
the hall, clomping his feet, and we never heard from him again.
Had to leave it in there for you. But they also put Mike Reiner calls it quites on the Chiron or the scroll thing or whatever.
Quites.
In spectacular ticket fashion, they misspelled quits.
What's the guy's name that made that announcement on Channel 8? I always forget.
Chris Lawrence.
Yeah, Chris Lawrence. He's new, relatively new, within the last year or so. I wonder if he's aware of Mike.
He just reads the prompter.
We're all big fans over here of Mike
we
Reiner
love
and the
Mac Rammer.
and the
He's
ticket.
fantastic.
Our friends
Called
over
it Quites.
at Free For All, Mike Ducey and Sam Gannon. Now, Mike's been a guest over there, and we obviously have a big relationship with Fox 4, but they played it kind of straight.
The co-founder of The Ticket, Mike Reiner, announced today on Twitter that he's retiring from the radio station. Says his health is fine, says he has no problems with management. They wanted him to stay.
Reiner has been on Dallas radio since the 70s. He helped found The Ticket, DFW's first all-sports station, back in 1993. For 26 years, he has co-hosted the afternoon drive show, The Hardline.
Said it was simply time to step away. No word on a successor for Mike Reiner, a giant in DFW radio with a vision that changed the entire market. A little ticket will not be the same without him. Here's some of Mike's announcement today.
I don't make a habit of this.
Oh, yeah, I think I cut it off right there. But you get the idea.
That was a little more solemn.
I know. Well, you know why? I think Mike wanted to downplay it because he put his name in the ring to be the host. So he just kind of wants to, like, not
a free-for-all?
Not let too many people.
For Mike to do afternoon drive.
Yeah, Ducey wants to come over here and do this.
I got it. Very respectful
Yes.
out of the gate.
Right, let's be quiet about this. Maybe not too many people will know, and then I can apply and sneak in there.
What he doesn't know is that Sam did the same thing.
Right, I got to get out from under this
freaking
oppressive Ducey.
Night of the media long knives over the next month, brother. It is.
Yeah, it
USS
is.
Indianapolis with sharks circling.
So at the Mavericks game last night, now I came back and I watched the second half live after kid basketball. I did not know, though, that there was a first half nod to Mike by Followell, of course, and Skin and Harp.
I think this was mid-second quarter or so, but it kind of unfolded a little bit awkwardly before it was just really sweet. So here you go.
Yeah, it was a big day of news for guys named Mike in sports in Dallas today.
Yes, our good buddy Mike Reiner from the Hardline. We have some thoughts to share about Mike in a little while when the opportunity presents itself.
All right, so we're going to do that later.
Dwight Powell on the line. Makes the first, and now a word from Ford.
So now we do one of those split-screen a word from Ford things.
Yeah.
We run a 10-second ad, and then...
You know what? I'm going to do it right now and just send a big shout-out to Mike Reiner with his retirement announcement today from the Ticket and from broadcasting. We all think so much of him. I got to say, I'm not overstating. I owe my career to that guy. So major props to 26 years of the Ticket and 4 decades in Dallas radio. And I hope Mike knows it as Levine scores, how much love and respect we all have for him and how much appreciation we have for his career in radio and personally what he did for me. So stay hard, Mike. Keep jamming, and we'll see you.
That guy's a legend.
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer, started the Ticket. The Hardline was part of the Zoo.
Yep.
He is a Dallas-Fort Worth legend.
That he is, my friend. And friend to us all.
Literally only could have been better if it were punctuated by J.R. Smith, bricks a 3. Like somebody that Mike had an irrational obsession with.
Or Jay Crowder was playing.
Yes, right.
Notice that there was one member of the broadcast team that was unusually silent.
Derek wasn't there.
Harp might have had the bathroom for a brief spell.
Is Derek Harper aware of the Ticket?
A couple of weeks ago, because Followell, like all of us, will occasionally use Mike lingo, and I think Followell said something like "the great," and he was talking about a guy who maybe used to have played in Dallas, but nobody would call him great.
Mm-hmm.
And Harp was like, "I'm about tired of you calling everybody the great."
I heard that.
He just didn't get it.
No.
And like Paul was like, you know what I mean? Great guy. So then later on in the game, they come back for break. Luka's dancing to Sweet Caroline. He's messing with Courtney Lee, which gave us this.
It's the 12th time this year and the 5th time since he's come back from the ankle injury that Luka's had at least 30 points and 10 rebounds in a game.
And doing it in just 29 minutes. And look how excited he is. They're playing Sweet Hardline in the arena right now as a tribute to Reiner, and Luka's fully invested in it. Unbelievable.
He was, man. Yeah, I had no idea that he's a fan of Neil Diamond of the Ticket Time Wasters, whoever it is.
Look at that. Bring back Fact Spotter.
Bring back Fact Spotter. You'd pay half your salary to get Washback. I would pay a lot less, but a fee to get Derek Harper's thought bubble.
Right.
Is there like, what
is ticket stock and
what is
time wasters?
Facts fodder?
Yeah. Oh, my
Sweet
God.
hard
Like, did
line?
they go to a break and he's like, what are y'all talking about?
Just say, that's just ticket stuff. Don't worry
I
about
think
it.
that there's so much white boy talk between those two that he just knows, like, I'm going to check out here.
Yeah.
I don't need to say a damn word.
So that covers WFA. It covers Fox 4's Free for All. It covers the Mavericks broadcast. I found this last night. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but our very own the psilocybin sea cow Mike Sirois.
Oh, yes.
He spends a lot of time live on the internet every night playing video games.
He's trying to be one of those video games influencers.
Yes, and people seemingly every time I see it and look at the views number, there are hundreds of people watching Mike Sirois at 62 years old just waste 17-year-olds at Fortnite.
So,
and I think he's pretty good.
Is this the deal where you see his face in the top left corner, and then you see the game being played?
I don't think he has it set up like that, but you can hear him. So
okay, that's the next step.
You just see what he sees, but then you hear his headset, and he'll talk about ticket stuff. I heard last night he was talking about Mike, and I've never played this game, but from what I gather, you got 100 people.
It's hard to win.
You got to be
man.
the last one.
It's very hard to
It's
win.
a big deal if you're the last one. And Sirois, I believe, said he would dedicate this win, if he got it, to Mike as a send-off. And he posted the very end of the round where he won. Tell me if you think he is totally of a clear mind.
No? Oh, he's right there.
Fuck everybody! Fucking A! Yes! Oh my fucking God! Fucking Magic Man! That is for the fucking damn old gray wolf!
So is Cash with him?
I don't think so.
I thought the first voice was Cash.
That's a different voice. I don't know who it was. It wasn't Mike.
So
before that,
a little different than how WFA handled it.
I don't know.
Slightly. Let's see.
No? Oh, he's right there.
I think he's just like quiet talking. Like, is that
I think
him
he's
there?
playing with Cash because you hear no. Oh, he's
No?
right there.
Oh, he's right there.
Yeah,
It doesn't sound like Cash.
Everybody! Fucking A! Yes! Oh my fucking god! Fucking Magic Man!
Magic Man.
That is for the fucking damn old gray wolf!
That is the greatest thing I've ever heard. His tribute's the best.
Yeah, I
Number
think,
one.
I think he's number one.
Sorry.
What time was that?
Sorry, Skin.
Do we know what time he was playing? Is this right in the middle of the Maverick game? Or is this later? Is this
I have
late
no-
night?
I saw it super early when I got up this morning, but he goes pretty late.
God, that's great.
Where do you watch this? On YouTube?
He posts a link to his Twitch.
Mm.
His Twitch stream.
I'm going to have my kids start watching him.
Great idea.
Effing Magic Man!
Everybody!
Like it's a gunshot.
Oh, I love that man. I love that man. You declared earlier, Donovan, that you would like to make some sort of announcement/proclamation.
We had this on our show the other day, Corby.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do a show right here on the Ticket, 10 to noon, with Norm Hitzkes, Mike Sirois,
I've heard of that.
Julie Dobbs, and Big Strong Jer. It's the Normandy invasion. I don't know how we got on pants or clothes, and when we started talking, and I realized I have probably worn jeans every day for the last 4 or 5 years. Take out church, because I don't wear jeans to church, but work, and even if we're going out to a nice dinner, you can dress jeans up with a nice sport coat.
No, wait a minute. Are you talking? You're throwing away summer here because you wear shorts in the summer
Or jorts.
I don't wear jorts.
When did you give those up?
Probably 10, 12 years ago.
I don't believe you, but okay.
Yeah, I have.
You're
welcome.
But you're not wearing like normal shorts in the summer? Am I missing something here?
No, okay, take the summer out.
Okay, when it's time to wear something to cover your legs,
It's
it is
all
jeans.
jeans.
Yes,
Always denim.
right.
And I have a wife that loves to shop for herself, and she loves to buy me clothes also. But as any regular dude, I probably wear 8% of my closet. Because the jeans are in rotation, it's right there, shirts or whatever, and I have all these pants that I just never wear, ever. So I decided, we were talking, and I said, you know what? No more denim. I'm going to see how long I can go without putting on a pair of jeans because it is pant season. And my wife's favorite store is the store that would sound like a fruit state, a fruit nation.
I know what you're saying.
Paranopolis?
Fruit Nation?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So that's her favorite store, and she bought me these traveler pants. To where when I hear that, I go, okay, like if I'm on an airplane, they would seem quite comfortable when you're traveling. That's fine. And she'll buy them for me all the time, and they're just hanging in the closet. They've been there for a while. So now I decided, you know what? I can't remember what trip we went on. Oh, I have traveler's pants. I'm traveling. Let's try them out. And they're super comfy.
Game changer?
A little snug.
Where?
Well, you can go size up.
And see, that's the problem. I'm built like a running back from the waist down.
Mm-hmm. You got a big ass.
Thank you.
And you do have a big old dumper.
Thank you. Dragging some serious wagon around here. Tiny
I bet you're
waist.
hell in the paint. You and Machine. Machine's got a big ass, too.
He does.
But the thighs are a little bigger for the waist. So sometimes pants that fit me correctly in the waist fit a little too snug around the thigh area. And if it's just a tiny bit snug, I'm not wearing them. That was my mindset about a year or two ago.
It's not for the reason you texted us earlier. That bold claim.
In all caps.
Yeah.
No, but it got your attention.
Yeah,
and that's all I wanted to do.
I was into the segment then.
But for this week, and I told them I was going to start Monday, I am not going to wear denim for as long as I can possibly get out of them. And I have so many pairs of jeans, it's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a nice amount of these traveler's pants. These are the.
So she bought you several pair of these traveler's pants.
Yes,
Can I
all in
touch them?
different colors. Yes,
May
you
I
can.
touch
But
them?
don't touch it up there, though.
Are you touching his traveler's pants?
Pull them a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of give.
And they are the best.
Here, touch my pants.
This is amazing.
Oh, wow.
You like that feel?
I do.
I know.
Now, what are those pants called?
Those are action pants.
They're not action pants.
Yes, they are.
That's what Danny
you guys
labels
are wearing.
them.
You're wearing action
No,
pants.
no. Well, yeah, you
Because
maybe could
you
do
guys
kung
are
fu.
Wearing those in case a jiu-jitsu war breaks out, then you'll have good flexibility to do giant kicks.
Okay, so I'll get to me in a minute because you're more important than me right now. How's it been going? Have you enjoyed your week?
I love it. And it's allowing me not to throw on these dumb tennis shoes that I just keep wearing and putting on more shoes. Like I'm exploring my wardrobe now.
See?
And I can understand where the ladies are coming from.
Yeah.
This is great flipping through new things to see what I'm going to wear with my pants.
Now, with your traveler pants, we need to take pictures of traveler pant and action pant, but you're wearing a gray color right now. Do you have different colors?
Yes, I have black, green, maroon. Yes.
Okay.
And the kind of khaki
What are you,
color
Jimi Hendrix?
that I wore yesterday. I have such a assorted amount of colors in these traveler pants. Blue, I want more. I want every single color that they have.
And then you can break out. It's not just shoes, it's different shirts, and that you can mix and match.
I had a brand new outfit on Monday. Pants that I had never worn before, still had the tags on it. A shirt that still had the tags on it. And I broke out a nice pair of gray and beige kicks that I looked good.
So basically
my mama, on my hood, I looked fly. I looked good.
Yeah, he did.
So you essentially have middle-aged garanimals now.
See,
I'll take
now
it.
Danny is older than us, okay? Mr. Middle-aged.
I'm not saying that I'm not the same age as you guys or a year older.
Everything in your closet is just black, and you just
It's
flip
black
through. Let's
jeans.
see.
But you make fun of us, me, because it's dad stuff.
It's action pants.
You're a dad as well.
Yeah,
You're
but not
older
really,
than me.
Not really anymore.
Well, you're still, if you have a child, you're a father.
He's a grown man.
It doesn't matter. So in 10 years when my kids are grown, I'm
Look,
still going to be a dad.
Yeah, but I'm not chasing around 10-year-olds where I need to have
action pants,
a breathable crotch. It just
I don't
gets to
either.
the point where comfort becomes. It's like you're settling.
No. And that's where you got this all wrong. This is not about settling. Okay, so I'm going to go and tell you how I entered into the no denim scene.
Okay.
I was just like you. If I was going to wear anything that required long pants, it was jeans, and that's been the case since I was 10. You know, and I didn't have the assortment that you do.
Mm-hmm.
I had like 3 pair that were in constant rotation per week, by the way, Donovan. Per week.
Okay. You need more clothes.
But I probably do. But what I did when I went to Nashville, all right? Went to Nashville with our good buddy, Danny Ben Jenkins. Ben, who's owns War Stick, a Jack White guy.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to see Jack play in Nashville. And we're walking around, and I got my jeans on, and it was humid as hell. It was supposed to be cooler. It was humid. I had the sag going. I couldn't keep them up. I had crotch rot because we're walking all around the city. The jeans got heavy. I was like,
butt.
yeah, dump butt. It became ridiculous. And Ben goes, dude, why are you wearing jeans? And I'm like, I don't know. It's because what I got. And he goes, I gave that up long ago. He goes, let's go to Patagonia. And they're like the flagship Patagonia store is in Nashville, or it's one's in California, but one of the big ones is in Nashville. And he goes, you need to try on these pants.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go, and I tried these pants on that I'm wearing right now. And I put them on in the dressing room, and I was like, oh my God, this is a game changer. Now, you felt these.
I did.
These are the type of pants where if you walk in the water, you're dry.
Like Jesus.
Yeah, you're dry like 7 minutes later.
And he was wearing a robe.
Just in case. Just in case I ever got
Just think
soaking
if
wet.
Jesus had action pants.
An action robe.
Yeah, action robe.
But it's also one of those things where I left the store, and you know how when you buy stuff at the store, you don't leave it on?
Oh, you had to. I am not taking these off.
I left them on, and I bought 4 pair.
I bet they're like $200 a piece.
They're
too.
not, dude. They're like they were $60.
So the same as jean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
depending on what jean you buy.
They're super durable. They're super flexible. They're, like Donovan said, they really mix up your wardrobe quite a bit. And they're beyond comfortable.
And I can remember years back to where when I was in college, or maybe late high school, college, the bigger your clothes, the better. And it felt like the more comfortable you are. But now the older that I get, clothes that fit
Thank you.
are comfortable. They may look tight to others. Oh, you have on tiny shirt or tiny pants and all that, but it is so comfortable.
Well,
now,
the materials have changed too.
My wife would get on me all the time because I would always go a size or maybe even 2 up because I felt like it's way more comfortable. And she's like, that's too big. That's too big. And then I'd put some pants on and I'm kind of tugging at the thigh or something. She's like, stop it. Your clothes fit. That's what they're supposed to do. And now I am all in on that. I feel great.
So you get your action pants at the Fruit
State
World
store.
And you get yours at Patagonia?
Yeah, which they're opening up a new one in Deep Ellum.
You know you guys are just wearing parachute pants, don't you?
You're an idiot.
With zippers.
No way these are parachute pants.
Yeah, and you have zippers. I saw you wearing your wallet around your ankle the other day.
Now,
just because there's a pocket there.
Now, the Patagonia pants that I have, Donovan, they are, like yours is the traveler pants. They're probably meant for, like, hiking and things like that, or they could be utilized for that if you choose. And, yes, there is a pocket that is here that I use to put my wallet in on my thigh. It kind of rests comfortably against my
and
thigh.
He's got his first aid kit in the other one.
Shut up. It's not like Jason
Swiss Army
Garrett's
knife,
Jason
compass.
Garrett's Batman belt.
Yeah, it is.
Some raisinets. He leaves a little loose in there at times.
You got Jason Garrett utility pants.
And you know what? I knew that I was onto something from this fashion maven known as Gordon Keith because we came in for the Mike Reiner retirement announcement. Before it happened, we were all joking around about whatever. Nobody knew why they were in there. And Gordon goes, "Where'd you get those pants?" I was like, "Uh-huh."
Nice.
Because Gordon wears nothing but jeans.
Yeah, I know.
And boots
He's
in the
very
summer.
jeany. And he goes, "Wow, I like those." I'm like, "Dude, they will revolutionize your game." And you don't look like a hobo all the time.
I will put on more jeans. I'm pretty sure of it. But I have turned a corner.
And the thing is,
these pants, I grab the other colors that I have to put them prominently up front in my closet, so now I can coordinate at night and put out my outfit to put on like the first day of school. And I feel like it's the first day of school right now.
And
look at
You'll
me.
get bored with this.
Dude.
This is a fad.
It's been almost a year. Well, kind of. We're getting there. That I've not put on jeans, and I don't even think about looking back.
You think your butt will reject denim
Dude,
right
I
now?
think so. I think it's just too heavy. This is so light and comfortable and awesome.
I'm a pant
You'll get there
man
someday.
now, Danny.
Well, I think you guys are buying the wrong jeans if you're getting heavy-ass, thick jeans. And I've seen the cut of jeans that you guys wear. They're like Old Navy, boxy, straight leg.
No, not my jeans.
Yeah, they are.
There's no
Corbin.
flex, man. No flex. These
I
I can
want you to
bend.
touch
I can
my
do.
pants.
I will.
Like you
I
said,
will touch your pants.
I can't do exercises the way that I can do in these, or get into a karate fight if I need to. I'm ready.
You would throw out your hip if you got in a karate fight.
Well, at least now I'd have that option.
It's not the pants' fault.
Right, exactly.
That's all we know now.
Right.
Because they're so great.
All right, there is action pant talk.
So I was kind of surprised when 60 Minutes did this piece, and the 60 Minutes piece focuses almost exclusively on what happened at the UMCC. I believe that's what it's called, the jail that he was being housed at in Manhattan. Now, ABC actually did a story last night, a 2-hour special, which I watched, and it kind of sucked. They focused exclusively on his time in Palm Beach, where he was Jeffrey Epstein, billionaire, so he says. Some people have questions about that. Financier, friend to the global elite. Was when he was in Palm Beach, he was recruiting local high school girls, mostly from economically disadvantaged backgrounds, trailer park type kids, and paying them initially for massages and ultimately for sex. And this got around the school because it's a high school. He was paying kids $100 who were poor, and there were dozens of them. Eventually, they got to their parents, and he ended up getting like 18 months of an extremely low security prison, of which he was allowed to be gone from for work release to his high rise 16 hours a day.
When was this?
That was, I think, 2009.
Okay.
And in fact, the recently departed Labor Secretary, Alexander Acosta, was the DA at the time. And he actually said, whenever he joined Trump's team, I was told, don't touch this guy. He belongs to intelligence. Now, that can mean a number of things, but it is the first time somebody publicly stated, I was told to leave this dude alone. And the ABC News special didn't even mention that. Because, again, what do you do with that?
Did Acosta lose his job over this?
Yeah, once this all got hot again. And
Right.
it wasn't like anybody didn't know. There was no new information. It was just like, oh, wait, you're the same guy?
Yeah, you're the guy that...
So he ended up getting caught up in the crossfire on it. But the 60 Minutes piece focuses exclusively on the very short stint that Epstein had in the Manhattan jail. And they go through how it is that he could have possibly killed himself or how it is that he possibly could have been murdered in this jail.
And this happened on a Friday night, right? It was almost like a news dump.
5 months ago to the day, August 10th, 2019. And so this is, they start out here with something that I found actually kind of funny about how Epstein was actually having to try to take care of himself while in jail. And I'll play this from my computer, Mino.
Epstein was directing money to be deposited in other inmates' commissary accounts in exchange for his protection, sources say, because he feared for his life. But the government says Epstein was suicidal and made his first failed suicide attempt weeks after he arrived. According to court documents, on July 23rd, a guard found Epstein on the floor of his cell with a strip of bedsheet around his neck. Epstein claimed his cellmate, Nick Tartaglione, attacked him. Epstein was moved to the psych unit and placed on suicide watch. But 1 week later, Epstein, at the direction of the MCC's psychological staff, was taken off suicide watch and required to have an assigned cellmate.
Okay, so a couple things there. I think it's hilarious, and I don't know how it works, that he's funneling money to other inmates' books while in jail. You would think they would have had closer tabs on him. Two, his cellmate that he claims tried to kill him, Tartaglione, is a super roided-up looking New York cop who killed 4 people in a gangland-style operation because he was running crack and cocaine in New York himself. His lawyer obviously says he didn't do it. He was featured on 60 Minutes.
That sounds like a cross between a mobster and pasta.
Right. It sounds tasty. And then the third thing is, it's bewildering to me that someone could try to kill themselves in jail, and 1 week later they're like, he's probably better.
Right.
Probably got over what was ailing him mentally.
The danger's past.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think he learned his lesson.
Yeah. He seems to have a much sunnier disposition this day than he did 7 days ago.
Did they separate Tartaglione and Epstein?
They did separate him then, but if you notice at the end of that clip, they said they took him off of suicide watch, but mandated that he have a cellmate. So he's off, quote-unquote, suicide watch, but he has to have a cellmate at all times. And again, that suicide attempt was 3 weeks before he was ultimately found dead in his cell.
On him again.
Let's go back here.
Lawyers say the day before Epstein was found dead, he was upbeat and looking forward to an appeal hearing on his bail. That same day, his cellmate was released and no new cellmate was assigned, even though he was required to have one. Mm-hmm. Michael Thomas and Tova Noel are the 2 guards who were working the overnight shift on the shoe.
The Saint?
Court documents say Epstein was escorted into his cell by Tova Noel at approximately 7:49 p.m. Then, the guards didn't check in on him again until shortly after 6:30 a.m. the next morning.
Okay, so the day before he's found dead, his mandated cellmate is released. And that night, he's not checked on for almost 12 hours.
Right. They're supposed to check him at every 2 hours. 10 o'clock, midnight, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., then finally at 6 a.m. Oh, crap, he's dead.
Yeah.
What's the excuse?
So this jail official actually says it should be every 30 minutes, and he's featured here.
So in the shoe, they should be checked in on every 30 minutes.
They should be checked on every 30 minutes.
It's my understanding, based on the documents that I examined, the 2 officers that were working in the special housing unit allegedly falsified the records and did not do any rounds for approximately 8 hours.
How big of a deal is that?
That's a huge, huge deal. This is one of the most basic operational aspects of managing a jail or prison.
It's kind of the only thing you have to do is keep tabs on them. I mean,
that's your job.
So these 2 guards, are they just sitting in the guards room watching like night court reruns, or are they
not far off?
Are they on the take and they are not checking on Epstein because they've been paid not to check on Epstein?
Yeah, and see, that's,
as I feed the conspiracy
right.
theory.
No, and at the heart of all these, you have to ask yourself: is it just gross incompetence? Is it someone being told, wink, wink, maybe don't look at him tonight, or is it someone directly being told, someone is coming in here tonight, we need you to not pay attention? That seems kind of implausible to me because both of these people have now been charged. So they could end up going away for a long time.
Are they in jail right now, or do they make bail?
I think they've made bail, but they are facing very serious criminal charges.
They're going to be killed.
Yeah, they very likely could be killed by the Clinton suicide gun for letting this get out. So there were 2 cameras that could see Epstein's cell that night. And I'll give you a guess. You can just play along at home. Do you think that both of them were working?
In November, Attorney General William Barr told reporters he personally reviewed surveillance video that showed nobody entered the area where Epstein was held. But sources say a second camera inside the tier, the one that could have seen Epstein's cell door and the doors of other inmates, was not working that night.
So Epstein's taken off suicide watch. The day before he kills himself, his roommate is removed from the cell. The cameras on his tier are not working. The guards fell asleep. It seems almost impossible to think all of those things could happen in that way.
It does, and that's what makes this so shocking. I mean, this is a failure on multiple levels.
It sounds like the Mayberry Police Department.
I know.
It does.
I mean, it's not like when you're a teenager and you go in, you're working at a fast food place and you go in and you look at the bathroom and then you just sign the sheet.
Right.
Yeah, it's clean.
Yeah. We've all been there. It's like
it's a little different than that.
One of the most important potential witnesses, maybe in American history, given the things that he's been involved in, and every single step of check on this, they didn't do any of it. And this morning, actually, CBS News, obviously the people who put out 60 Minutes, ran a piece on the fact that his first suicide attempt, the one that was a few weeks before where he says the ex-cop tried to kill him, the federal government is looking for that video because they would like to see, okay, can we build from there? If that was a real suicide attempt, maybe he was really suicidal. Maybe we should take that, a little more seriously. Or, as he says, he was attempted murder by his cellmate. Was he telling the truth? Let's take a listen to what happened to that video.
Video of the cell exterior where Epstein first tried to end his life was sent to federal investigators and restored last week. But on Thursday, prosecutors said it's the wrong video. What? In a letter, federal prosecutors said the jail inadvertently preserved video from the wrong tier at the jail. And as a result, video from outside the defendant's cell no longer exists. The missing jail cell video could reignite speculation of a cover-up as the detention facility continues to be under fire for multiple failures before Epstein died in custody.
When you've got videotape disappearing, cameras not working, guards allegedly not being where they're supposed to be, it's no wonder that Jeffrey Epstein is dead.
These things can happen, right?
These things can happen. But they all should happen.
All of them? That's what she said, yeah. How do all of them happen to such a high-profile case?
You know what I love from the very beginning of that cut when they say we brought it back to have the videotape restored. Like it's from the Civil War.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like
got to put color on it.
It's Bob digitizing old Cowboys games for Mike. So, look, I don't know if the dude... It's fun to say he didn't kill or that he didn't kill himself. He might have killed himself, but I think that's a bit of a red herring. Even if he did kill himself, the fact that he was allowed to and given the leeway to is effing insane.
I think, Jake, you and VJ Boyd need to get together and pen the Jeffrey Epstein story.
That would be a dream.
But then the guards have to have all ticket names and stuff. Guard Corby, over here.